Снова здравствуйте, мои уважаемые зрители.
Hello again, my dear viewers. In the yard we have April 12th, and the traditional review of events at the fronts. Traditionally, I will start from the north direction. I will reassure the residents of the Bryansk, Kursk, Belgorod regions, who, after yesterday's review, for some reason thought that I predicted for them some kind of major offensive by the Ukrainian army on their territory. They are already writing, "So what are you telling us, to run or not to run from Belgorod?" I repeat for the third time, if someone has a desire to escape from Belgorod, please go to Vladivostok. No one will touch you there. You can go to Yakutsk. No one will touch you either. But I think that nothing threatens Belgorod, but in order for you to finally calm down, it is better to leave once. My opinion, both the day before yesterday and yesterday, has remained unchanged. Some settlements of the Kursk, Belgorod regions and Bryansk regions face certain problems. First of all, for example, the settlement of Tyakino, on which the Ukrainian troops can quite strike. Also, quite decent forces of the Ukrainian army are concentrated in this area, but they are no more than the same Russian armed forces in this direction. That is, there can be no talk of any serious progress in this area. Nevertheless, for the sake of a Puerto Rico campaign, for the sake of such Puerto Rico goals, in order to show that we have crossed into the territory of the enemy, they can indicatively go to 1, 2, 3 settlements. That's what I've been telling you about the north direction for the past 3 or 4 days. These are the risks that are currently observed here. It's up to you to decide whether you should leave there, either not. Evaluate for yourself. I have not seen, and do not see any serious threat, neither for Kursk, nor for Bryansk, nor for Belgorod, for the vast majority of the territories of these regions. Therefore, stop panicking. Although I understand you perfectly, people lived a peaceful life and now the war came to their territory, and so, we have dealt with this direction. Now let's move on to Kharkov. I also already said that the Ukrainian troops tried to occupy several villages in the gray zone north of Kharkov, and today they have retreated from them because they were hit by artillery. And why are these villages a gray zone? Why is no one taking them? Yes, because whoever goes there, he automatically falls under the attack of enemy artillery, and, accordingly, incurs losses. Yes, they conducted a Puerto Rico campaign, occupied several villages, but now they have left them. Why was it necessary? Don't know. However, apparently someone needed it. Show how big one. Meanwhile, Russian troops continue to concentrate their forces in the bend of the Seversky Donets, between Chuguev, Zmayev, Balaklaya and Izyum. According to American and British intelligence, very large forces are already concentrated here. Moreover, according to American intelligence, today they were announced. The Russian troops are preparing for a very serious offensive because a concentration of both the second and third echelons has been noticed there. A huge group is preparing to strike. The British and Americans once again point out to the Ukrainian leadership that a terrible threat looms over the Donetsk front. It will most likely be surrounded and destroyed. The only question is time, and where exactly will the blow be struck? If on the northern flank of the Donetsk front, the place of impact is more or less clear. There must be a strike from the Izyum region, because there is a very convenient strategic base there, which Russian troops are constantly expanding. Where the Russian troops will strike in the south, no one knows yet. The front where they can do this is wide enough, up to 100 kilometers. This is very unnerving for the Ukrainian command, which their British counterparts, too, in quotation marks, delighted, announcing that Russian troops could well carry out an offensive operation in the Odessa area. with the taking under control of the districts of the city of Nikolaev and access to the region of Transnistria. And yet, the British, taking into account the concentration of Russian troops, I emphasize that these are not my data, these are data that are now walking in American and British expert circles. So, according to British intelligence, the Russian command does not even have the opportunity today to strike in the Kharkov region. So there is a place where the Russian command can strike very, very wide, but the Ukrainian command cannot maneuver its reserves so freely, not only because he has few of them, but also because there is an acute shortage of fuels and lubricants and motor resources of armored vehicles, which is by no means unlimited, and they no longer have tank repair plants to restore this motor resource, and accordingly, to transfer equipment from one direction to another. Ukrainian equipment, in fact, wears out, fails. And also, if the Russian command, in the event of a strike somewhere in the Odessa region, decides to cut off the Donbas grouping from the right bank Ukraine, she can easily do this by destroying just a few strategic crossings over the Dnieper River. Also, let's not get ahead of ourselves. What I see suggests that the Russian command is preparing a lot of unpleasant surprises for the Ukrainian armed forces. And I will say right away that this second phase of the war in Ukraine, which should begin in the coming days, will be absolutely different from the first. It just doesn't look like the first one at all. That's about what I can say on this issue. That's all I have for now on this topic. Goodbye, and the next material will be released tomorrow. All the best.
Всего доброго.